Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to take your improper fraction and use division to find the exact same thing. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little piece of paper because I don't have enough paper here. Alright, so we're learning how to take an improper fraction and use the skill of division to help us write the mixed number. So when you see the fraction 14/6, we know that this fraction bar really means divide. I told you that at the very beginning of the year. So what that looks like is you build a small house. Your numerator goes inside. Your denominator goes outside. This number becomes your dividend. This becomes your divisor. And you simply ask yourself, how many groups of 6 can get me to 14? So if you're counting by sixes, and you go back and look at your dots, you know that 2 groups will get you to 12. So you're going to put the number 12 right here above 14, above the 4 and 14. Now that you have just divided, you're going to multiply, and I put a little multiplication symbol here to remind me 2 groups of 6 is 12. When you subtract 12 from 14, you get 2. And we don't get remainders in 5th grade anymore. We learn how to take our remainders and write a fraction. So now your remainder becomes the numerator of your fraction, and your denominator becomes the number of equal pieces in each group. Your fraction name, or your mixed number, is 2 and 2/6. Again, 2/6 is equal or even, and it can be simplified. 2 is even, 6 is even. So if you find your GCF, your greatest common factor that they share, or you just think about cutting it in half again, 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 2. I'm sorry, 3. And your whole number 2 carries over. You get the same exact information. Let's try that again. Let's try it with 7/3. 7/3. This time, I'm going to build me a little house. The number 7 goes inside the house. The number 3 goes outside the house. And I ask myself, how many groups of 3 will get me to 7? So I count by 3s. 3, 6, 9. Oop, 9's too much, so how many? Only 2. 2 is part of your quotient. 2 groups of 3 will give you 6. And when you subtract, you have 1 left over. The 1 becomes your numerator. Your denominator becomes your 3. And you get 2 and 1/3. The exact same thing that you got here. Let's do one more. This time, let's do 9/4. 9 divided by 4. 9 divided by 4. Think to yourself, how many groups of 4 are in the number 9? Counting by 4s. 4, 8, 12. 12's too much, so only 2 groups. The number 2 is going to go on the top, and 2 groups of 4 is going to give me 8. If I subtract, I get 1 left over, and 1 becomes my numerator, and 4 becomes my denominator. 2 and 1/4. Is that what we were able to get? It sure was. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at some practice, and so you can tune in for the next video on that practice.